Hey there guys, DMO73 here, back at it again with more spoilers, this time for the return of the Dragon Emperor. I know, right off the bat we're getting back to better stuff. I know Vingoff isn't even out yet and we're already starting these spoilers. We're going to start with our new rulers, of course, and there's going to be a spoiler article every Monday and every Thursday, so be sure to tune into the channel here on those nights to get your spoiler coverage almost as soon as the articles come out. So first up we have Kaguya, the Tears of the Moon, who is our green-blue ruler. She is a wizard. She has a judgment cost of 0, but only can flip if you played a treasury item into your field this turn. So very much like the very first Kaguya, which is interesting. Energize for blue or green, and she has 0. Reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a treasury item, put it into your hand. And you can play this ability only during your turn and once per turn. So essentially what this means is if you're playing a really heavy treasury item deck, you can use Kaguya to kind of cycle through your deck faster and get some draw power, which is pretty interesting, especially when we're going to see kind of the variety of treasury items she brings. She flips over into Kaguya, the Millennium Princess, who is very interesting here. So she's a J ruler, but she doesn't have stats. So this is interesting to see whether or not she stays in the ruler zone or not. I imagine she probably comes into the field, but she's a J ruler, so she can be targeted by Black Moonbeam. But she says as long as you control 3 or more treasury items, she gains barrier, so she can't be targeted by anything. And you can rest a recovered treasury you control to give target J/res minus 200 attack, which is interesting. You can rest 2 recovered treasury items you control to produce blue or green. You can rest 3 recovered treasury items you control to draw a card, 4 recovered treasury items to bounce a resonator back to a hand, and 5 recovered treasury items to make her a 15/15 with flying. So obviously her synergy is going to be all about those treasury items. The more you have, you can rest them during the recovery to kind of do what you need or whatever, and then kind of swing in with Kaguya to make things happen as like a finisher, I suppose. So pretty cool. The artwork is gorgeous. Kaguya is no longer messing around. After Fiethsing died, she is super serious here, so pretty cool. Next up we have Kaguya, Stone of Sorrow, so it's the newest shock rock. First off, this is a beautiful card. If your J ruler isn't Kaguya, it comes into field rested unless you pay 300 life. Treat it as a water magic or wind magic stone, but here's the kicker. When this enters your field, you get to look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put them back in any order. So imagine this. Tap, hit this stone, look at 2, put a treasury item on top, use the Kaguya activate ability, and immediately draw it. This is like Shion. This is very, very much like Shion. And the fact that this is going to be good for cycling or making sure that next draw is always what you want is just by flipping a stone is pretty cool. I'm very, very excited about this. Next up we have the Glistening Chick, who is a 5/5, 1 water, 1 wind treasury item and bird. Flying, whenever this card becomes rested, you may rest target resonator. So it swings, you can tap something down. This is like a Gawain effect, and Gawain has actually done a lot of work this meta in some matchups and stuff like that for knights. So having Glistening Chick is actually pretty cool, because this also means if it blocks, it's going to tap something down too. Very, very cool. Next up, we have the Water Kimono of the 12 parts, another treasury item for 1 blue. Bestows just by tapping it. Now, here's the interesting thing. Just like the old Croco Sharks, you can have 12 copies of this card in your deck. Bestowed Resonator gains +1/+1 for each. And when this card is bestowed to a Resonator, if you control the Resonator and 12 total Water Kimono of the 12 parts bestowed to that Resonator, you instantly win the game. So, another alternate win con, which is pretty cool here. And Bestowed Resonator gains +1/+1 for each Water Kimono of the 12 parts bestowed to it. This just makes me think that we're going to play a Boggles game with Charlotte, the Resonator. So you make Charlotte really big, you've got all these cards in your hand, and then if your opponent can't answer her, they just are going to deal with kimono after kimono after kimono being put on her while not being able to target her, and then suddenly you just win the game. Very, very cool. Lots of interesting things you can do with this, playing a Boggles alternate win con kind of deck. It's a neat idea. Playing 12 of it is a little risky, I think. Probably not super competitive, but hey, it's pretty cool. Next up, we have Mystia, the Manager of the Treasury. 3-drop, 5/5 Were-Rabbit. When it enters your field, search your deck for a treasury, put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. So instantly gain any treasury item if you want. And when she puts into a graveyard from your field, you can put any treasury item, total cost 3 or less, from your hand onto your field. So this is also very cool because essentially she's a +1. Even if they kill her, you're going to get a treasury item to replace it. So she's pseudo cantrips, and you can get the treasury item that you need at the moment in your hand, and you don't have to worry about immediately casting it if they try to kill her. Just pretty cool. Next up, we have Miracle Millennia Medicine. It is a 1-drop green treasury. I like the fact that a lot of these treasuries are pretty cheap. You can banish this card, target up to 3 non-Magic Stone cards in a single graveyard. The owner of those cards shuffles them into their deck. So this is pretty cool. It'll let you cycle back those cards that you need in Kaguya, or if you're playing a recursion deck or something like that, or you're playing against a reanimate deck, you can search this bad boy up when you need it, play it, and just sit on it and wait to try to reanimate. They try to reanimate stuff, which is pretty neat. It also means you don't necessarily have to play Regalia with her to make this stuff cycle, so that's pretty cool. And then lastly, we have the First Moon. It is a blue-green 2-drop moon treasury item. Other additions you control can't be destroyed. Can we please just talk about this? Having this plus Wind Secluded Refuge is really good. So then your opponent has to have double Black Moonbeam or something like that. And when this card becomes rested, target Resonator gains -200 attack. If only we had a way to rest it, like, oh wait, our ruler, our J ruler. So pretty cool synergies with all these. Definitely, I mean, these guys, none of these other treasury items, and this is a treasury item as a creature, none of these treasury items we've seen so far really care about being rested, except because you can also tap something down with Listening Chick when you rest it. Doesn't have to be swinging, so pretty cool overall. Definitely looking forward to seeing what this deck has to offer. I need to see more treasury items before I'm completely sold. But let me know what you guys think in the comment sections down below. There's going to be more spoilers, like I said, twice a week. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, this is DMO73 signing off.